beast! Ah!
Hello, and welcome to another installment of Not the Bees, the Nicolas Cage filmography podcast. I'm Megs.
I'm Elizabeth.
And this week we watched 2007's Ghost Rider. I've seen it before. This is Marvel before Marvel was good. Not by much, a year or so. And it stars Nicolas Cage, obviously, as Johnny Blaze or the Ghost Rider. It's also got Sam Elliott, Wes Bentley, Eva Mendes, Brett Cullen, Donald Logue. There's a lot of really awesome, hey, it's that guys in this movie. But we start out at a big top. Is that what they're called? Big top tents? That's what I thought. So we start out at a big top, and there's this scruffy-looking teenager. He's probably 16, 17 years old, and he's in a leather riding suit on his motorcycle, and he's trying to impress a girl that's in the stands. And, he's fucking around. And then his dad, who's also a stunt rider on his motorcycle, is like, come on, kid. And they're father and son duo, the Blazes. And his dad, who's played by the wonderful Brett Cullen, is Barton Blaze. And he has been doing this. He's a Evel Knievel sort of stunt driver with his motorcycle. And he travels around the country doing stuff. And Johnny is at this point staged to just follow his footsteps. And he wants to stay put for a little bit. He wants to fall in love. And his father is just looking at this girl as being a distraction. A couple of days pass, and at the end of one of the shows, him and his dad have had an argument about something. And he gets approached after the carnival or wherever they're at is closed by a guy who's kind of creepy and mysterious. And tells him...
Peter Fonda.
Yes, played by the wonderful Peter Fonda. This is a character that we learn later is called Mephistopheles. He's basically the devil. And he tells Johnny that his dad is sick and that he is not going to live very long. But if Johnny wants to sell his soul to him, tomorrow morning his father will wake up and he'll be in perfect health. And he sort of tricks Johnny at this point because he hands him the contract, which is just very Faustian looking scroll that he has to open. And as he's going to look at it, the top is obviously booby trapped, and he cuts one of his thumbs a little bit, just enough for a drop of blood to hit the signature line. And he's like, oh, no, I'll take that. That's good enough. So after that, they wake up the next morning. Dad's fine. He's like, I've never felt so good. I didn't tell you, but I was really sick. I was trying to work up the courage to tell you. And as soon as I had it, the doctor tells me everything's fine. So he's like, oh, great. this has worked, but he still doesn't really believe it. And then they go to work and they're doing their stunts and whatnot. And then his dad, while he's off, sneaking around with the girl, goes and jumps a stunt and dies doing the stunt. And so obviously the devil has tricked him. His dad was perfectly healthy. He didn't lie about that. But, can't prevent any accidents from happening. Never bet the devil with your soul, kids. That's really the moral of the story here. But so his dad dies. He decides that he's going to leave. He leaves the girl on a tree, just waiting for him. And he just drives right past her. And then we just flash forward about 20 years, and Johnny Blaze is a professional stuntman, and he has this entire entourage of crew. Among which is Donald Logue. He's sort of the comic relief.
Donald
I know you want to say
Logue!
something. Donald Logue! He's sort of I love him too. He's the comic relief sort of best friend, mentor to Johnny Blaze. I do want to take a second here and just note that this is the first time that we've seen Johnny Blaze as an adult. So it's now Nicolas Cage rather than the scruffy teenager. And his wig also in this film deserves honorable mention because it made him look younger in this movie than he looked in National Treasure, which came out earlier, 3 years earlier than this.
You're absolutely right, but I do have a note here that says his hair is terrible.
Oh, it's absolutely terrible. You are not incorrect about that.
It's a bad wig.
It's a bad wig. I didn't say it deserved an award, just an honorable mention. Yeah. Anyways, so Johnny's being kind of, cavalier about the whole situation, about like his life and all this other stuff. He's doing more and more like dangerous stunts. The one that we see when we first see him as an adult is he is launching himself across, I think it was like 20, like, was it like 18 wheelers or something?
Yeah.
And at the end of it, when he hits the other side, the other ramp, he does lose control of the bike. He flips over it. His face mask hits the front tire and it shatters his face mask or the glass in the face mask.
His
Donald's
neck
like,
bends the wrong way.
the entirely wrong way. Like there's, and it's like a blink and you miss it kind of moment. Like you see the tire hit it, but you don't see the neck because you're still like engrossed with like what just happened to his face. I had to go back and watch it a couple of times. Like, yeah, okay, so the devil is keeping him alive.
Yeah.
That seems to be pretty obvious pretty quickly. Donald's character is trying to tell him, like, hey, you need to slow down, blah, blah, blah. Also going to pause here because another honorable mention, also just kind of a weird device to use. Johnny Blaze does not drink. He does not drink alcohol. Instead, he fills martini glasses with red and yellow jelly beans and eats them from the glass. It's weird. He's weird. It's Nicolas Cage. But still, I've never seen him do something like that. Anyways, he's off in another city, which happens to be like his hometown, and he's preparing to do a stunt, and he's being asked to do an interview. And it turns out it's his beau from high school when they were kids together. Roxy, and this is now, grown-up version played by Ava Mendes. And I just want to say, like, she's very awkward in this movie when she's doing like her job. She's very stilted. She's not a natural like news person. Like she's not natural in the interview process, but he bypasses any of her questions and he's just like, you look good. It's been a while. What are you doing after this? And it's just, it completely flops. And then
he speeds down the highway to catch her.
Yeah, he speeds down the highway to catch her because he's trying to get a date. He stops in the middle of the highway, almost causes an accident. She agrees to go out with him and like meet me here at this time. So he goes home, he's getting ready, and then as he's getting ready, he starts to heat up. And you can actually see on the screen his right hand is in view and it starts to change color. And then he notices it. And then all of a sudden he's just very, very hot and he needs to leave. And as he's running out, he like turns into the Ghost Rider. And then he's going and in a blink and you'll miss it moment, he's chasing some random bad guy that just happened to, like the first bad guy that pings on your radar when you become a superhero. He's passing by an alley and there's a girl whose purse is trying to be snatched. And this is the blink and you'll miss it. It's very young Rebel Wilson before she was ever famous at all with black hair. And then she runs off. He deals with the bad guy and then other bad guys come in. This is his first real fight where he meets, is it Blackheart, played by Wes Bentley, who I guess is actually the son of Mephistopheles. He's got an entourage of weird demon-y type characters. One of them is like built of air, one of them's water.
They're elementals, yeah.
Yeah. I think I don't remember what the other one was. I don't think it was fire, but I don't think it was earth. I don't know.
It was earth.
Was it earth? Okay. So, yeah. So they end up getting into this scuffle. From this is where he gets his trademark weapon, which is just the chain. Yeah. And so now he's Ghost Rider. And then he ends up standing up his girlfriend at the restaurant because he didn't have skin at the time. And he tries to explain this to her and she doesn't want anything to do with it. And then more fucked up shit happens. He wakes up at one point after the first time turning into the Ghost Rider in a cemetery. And the cemetery is run by a shady character called Just the Caretaker, played by Sam Elliott. And he's like, where's my motorcycle? He's like, oh, I parked it, on the garage over there. Don't worry, the answer's yes. He goes, what do you mean? You're wondering if it looks normal. The answer is yes, because when he transforms, his bike transforms. So as he's going to leave, the caretaker says something about the fire or something like that. And it makes him stop and think about it, but he doesn't really ask questions. And then he leaves. And he's just trying to forget that this is a thing, that he's, got this issue, and go do more jumps. And he's still trying to do, it turns out, the things that his father always wanted to do. The last trick that we get to see him do is at this really big arena where it's like a dome. So the ceiling opens and there are several helicopters that are coming in to like be on the field. He's going from end to end, from field goal to field goal, and he's going to jump over helicopters that have their blades still slowly rotating. And Donald is desperately trying to talk him out of this. Like, don't do this. Like, what would your dad say? And he's like, my dad always wanted to do this. He always thought it would look cool. So he did it, and he did it perfectly. I need to pause here because I kind of got... I know that there's something else that happens right after this, but I can't remember.
Well, after he jumps the helicopters is when he leaves the arena and chases her down on the... So he defeats one of the elementals.
Wakes up
the next morning in the cemetery, goes through all that rigmarole, goes to see the destruction from the night before and runs into Roxy. And he's trying to apologize to her.
Right.
She's having none of it.
Right.
And then he goes home. He's reading his books. And Roxy shows up. And this scene confused the crap out of me.
She was like drunk, right?
Well, she was sober. But she's like, I'm leaving town tomorrow, and I don't want the last thing that I said to you to be the last words that we speak to each other.
Yeah.
And then she just starts kissing him.
Yeah, which, it doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
No. And then he tries to tell her, like, we can't be together.
Right.
And he tries to tell her about his curse. She doesn't believe him. And then while they're in the apartment, it gets attacked, and he turns into... No, I thought he did.
No,
Hang on, let me read this again.
He sees her to her car, and as she pulls away, the cops pull up, and he's arrested.
God, that's right.
So then the cops have him in the interrogation room, and he's like, I watch a lot of TV. I know what you're doing. You're trying to do good cop, bad cop. But the problem is you're both good cops. And I didn't do this. I didn't kill anyone. I don't know what you're talking about. And
then they go and place him in holding.
Place him in holding with a bunch of goons.
Bad people. And he tries to tell them, like, you guys need to move me out of here.
So the goons attack him. And there's one, like, innocent person in the lockup who's like, hey, guys, you should stop that. And they push this kid away. And they're beating up on
like
Johnny
14.
Blaze. Yeah, he's real young.
Real young.
So they're beating up on Johnny Blaze, and all of a sudden he becomes the Ghost Rider. And
breaks out of jail.
Kicks all y'all's asses. Breaks out of jail. And heads out to fight some more elementals. Now he's got a problem, though. He's going up against the elementals, but he's also got the entire police force on his ass. And... like, he's riding his motorcycle straight up the sides of buildings. There's a fight on the rooftop. He comes back down to the ground. The police are like, shoot him, because that's what you do when something supernatural presents itself to you. You shoot at it. Absolutely. Texas. So Roxy has seen this. She now understands that what he was telling her is the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And... she, Wes Bentley's character, Blackheart, sees this and says, aha, now we know his weakness.
Right. So from here, he goes back to the cemetery to speak to the caretaker, because clearly he knows something about this. And now that he's found Roxy, and it looks like, she's accepting of the truth of him, of whatever's going on, he wants answers. And this guy seems to be the only person that knows what's going on. So the guy tells him about his predecessor, the previous Ghost Rider, and his name was Carter Slade, and he used to be a sheriff of his town, and then the devil came to him and wanted him to get all these damned souls out of a condemned church in, what was it, Arizona or New Mexico?
It's Texas.
Is it in Texas, that church?
Yeah, Carter Slade is a...
You're
Carter
right.
Slade
You're
is
right.
a Texas Ranger.
He's a Texas Ranger. You're absolutely right. So anyways, and we see this right at the beginning. This is like the intro scene is the past. We see a guy who is Ghost Rider basically, but he's not obviously on a motorcycle. He's on a horse wearing a Stetson. And this is Carter Slade. And when the devil asked him to bring him all of these souls, he took the contract and he ran and he hid it somewhere. So yeah, so the place they're supposed to go,
and that's the MacGuffin. That's the MacGuffin that Wes Bentley's Blackheart is looking for. Is this contract?
Right. So yeah, he goes to the cemetery. He speaks to the caretaker. He learns about Carter Slade. He learns about the contract, and then he goes home and he discovers that Blackheart has come, and he's killed Mac, who's played by Donald Logue, his best friend, his confidant, his manager, and he's kidnapped Roxanne. So if he's told Johnny, like, if you don't bring me the contract, I'm going to kill her. Obviously, whatever stakes it is that he needs to up his game at going after Blackheart. And tells him, if you bring me the contract for all of these souls like my father wanted all of those years ago, I'll let her go. So he goes back to the caretaker. He demands to get the contract. He's about to start digging up Carter Slade's grave. And the guy's like, no, you don't need to do that. It's not there. And he's like, how do you know? And he breaks the spade that he uses as a caretaker to dig all these graves. And it's hidden right in the bottom of the handle where it connects to the shovel, which is actually, I thought, was really clever.
I agree.
I think that was a really clever place to hide it. So he's telling Johnny that that he's a lot stronger than the first Ghost Rider because he sold his soul for love rather than greed. He sold it to save his father's life, not because he wanted money or whatever. And then he reveals himself as Carter Slade, the first Ghost Rider. So then we see this scene where they're both riding together to San Venganza, I think it's called, is the church. And they're going, and we see this whole transformation. We've seen Johnny change into the leather-clad, chain-wearing, bike-riding Ghost Rider that he is. But we see Carter Slade, who's played by Sam Elliott, who's just amazing, turn into the previous Ghost Rider. And that whole sequence is great. And he's like, do you think you can keep up? Because he's riding a fucking horse against a motorcycle. And he's like, oh yeah, she'll do. And then we see the horse change as well into a Ghost Rider horse. It's pretty cool. I enjoyed it. So before they go off, they get these shotguns, and it's like a Wild West, going to get it. So they get to this city, and now Johnny's up against the water angel or the water elemental. And there's this really sick scene where they're on top of a skyscraper, and he's like, he's
no.
Wait, hang on. Nope, that's the wrong one. I'm sorry. The water one, he boils. I remember that. Sorry, we skipped that part.
No, the water one attacks him as he's about to go into the town.
Right. So they get to where they're going, to this church, and he ends up stepping into a puddle that the water elemental is there, and he's holding him, and then he ends up fighting with him. They get into some body of water, and Johnny uses his chain to boil him in the water, which is pretty cool. So after he kills him, he does give Blackheart the contract, and Blackheart takes 1,000 evil souls into himself. And there was this point earlier when they first met where Johnny was trying to give Blackheart, I can't remember what he called it, the soul gaze or the guilt gaze or something like that. But basically he looks into their eyes and pulls the worst parts of what they've done to people and how those people felt and makes them feel it. But Blackheart doesn't have a soul, obviously. So now he's taken 1,000 souls into himself, and he calls himself Legion. And so they battle for a little bit. There's a really interesting area that happens when the daytime starts to break. And for some reason, I mean, we've seen him only be the Ghost Rider at night, but based on, you know, the lore of it, like, it's just anytime he's really around a bad guy, he's supposed to turn into Ghost Rider. But in the movie, during the sunlight, he doesn't. He goes back to being human.
Yeah, it's only at night.
Yeah, so he has to get him back into the church. And they're fighting basically just to get into the church, to get into the shadows so that he can flame back out again. And once he's able to do that after their fight, he looks at him and he's like, how do you feel having all those human souls inside of you? And so he does the gaze again, and he's able to kill him. And then Mephistopheles shows up and he offers Johnny, do this for me, be my Ghost Rider. You're really good at what you do. And he says
he offers him his soul back. You can go have your love. You can go have
You're
a
right.
family.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to be upsetting you.
That's okay. You're not upsetting me, but I'm just trying to make sure that we get it right.
Yeah. So yeah, he offers him his soul back, and Johnny's like, no, I'm going to keep it. I'm going to keep it away. Like, I'm going to fight bad guys just like you. And he vows to make Johnny pay and disappears with his son's body. And then Roxanne tells Johnny that he has a second chance, and they smooch, and Johnny rides away on his motorcycle, and he's, I guess now, like, excited about being the Ghost Rider. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah. So there's a lot of cool things in this movie, but there's also a lot of things that are not cool. Again, wig. But I mean, that's basically it. What did you think of the movie?
So I had never seen this movie before because I had been told that it was terrible. And it's not terrible.
It's not terrible.
I actually enjoyed it a great deal. I thought it was well done. I thought the CGI was good. I thought the acting was good. I thought, for the most part, the story held up. The only thing that I had a little bit of a problem wrapping my head around was Roxanne's motivation. Because, and it's really only that scene where she goes to his house and she's like, I'm leaving tomorrow, and I am sorry I was such a bitch to you. And then she kisses him, and he kind of like stops her, and she's like, I don't get it. What's with? And I guess Eva Mendes probably gets that a lot. Like, if somebody were to push Eva Mendes away, I would expect the answer to be, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, and maybe, I don't know, I haven't gone back and like looked at the catalog, but this is the second movie that we've seen with them in a relationship. But
wait, what was the other one?
Bad Detective.
Oh yeah.
Port of Call, New Orleans.
Yeah.
And maybe it's just because that movie was made 7 years later. Obviously, they've advanced in their careers. They've learned different things by being in different. But their relationship in that movie felt so much more, for how weird that fucking movie was, it felt more authentic.
Yeah.
Than it did in this one. This one felt very wooden. And again, like the whole, her being, and I get that that's her character shtick, is that she's a reporter, but like, as a reporter, she was terrible.
I wrote a note here, which was that I like this love story. And I wrote that when they were having the little banter when he caught her on the highway.
Yeah.
And I thought it was very natural. I thought it was very cute. I thought it was very, it was a good little rom-com-y moment. The only problem I had with their relationship is that scene in the apartment where she's like, basically throwing herself at him, and he pushes her away.
Right, and we don't understand why.
Right.
So, I don't know.
I did not like apparently all demons have shark teeth.
Yeah.
Wasn't a big fan of that choice.
Yeah, I wasn't a very big fan of that stylistic choice either.
There are scenes where Wes Bentley looks exactly like Jack Quaid, and that was throwing me off.
Yeah. I actually really love Wes Bentley. I'm glad that he's in this movie. Oh, I know he doesn't do a whole lot, but like, I always appreciate when I see him.
Let's talk about the first time Johnny Blaze transforms into the Ghost Rider. That scene is so Nicolas Cage.
Yes.
It is peak Nicolas Cage.
It really is. Because he has no idea what's happening. Like, things are and like, you can see it in his body movements. He's clearly going through some kind of transformation that he cannot physically control, like, what his body is doing. But also, I think, like, it was really cool, the transition.
Yeah.
The CGI was clean.
Yep.
And, like, not all of the CGI was great. I think that when the elementals were in their elemental form, it left a little something to be desired. It wasn't.
I agree.
It was very much like the twins from the Matrix, but only when they were like in like the shadowy, like whatever, but like not as good. But otherwise, I had no complaints about the CGI. But the first time that he turned into the Ghost Rider, I think my favorite part of that whole thing was when he found the chains. Like when he fully became, because we follow him from his apartment where it starts down into his first altercation with any of these, any bad guys. And we're not just bad guys. He's literally meeting the heavy hitters that the devil wants him to go after. He just doesn't know it yet.
Yeah.
And they have a really big, like, knockout fight. And then at the end of it, like, he's not even fully transformed. He doesn't have his weapon. He doesn't have his horse. Like, by the end of it, he does, and it's fully realized. And you see this moment to moment from where he's so confused with no idea what's going on, but he just knows it's pain, into a moment where he, like, is solidified. And it's over the course of only, like, 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
There's a scene where he's back in his apartment, and he's doing some reading about the Ghost Rider, about being the Ghost Rider, and he decides to practice with his powers to see if he can, like, call them up or conjure them in some way. And he's shirtless. And whoo boy.
I wasn't going to say anything because I feel like I've been thirsting over him for a couple of episodes now. And I just need to stop.
I agree. We need to stop thirsting after Nicolas Cage. But he was cut, like, the only thing I could think of when I saw it was like, ooh, he used the Hugh Jackman workout.
Yeah. Elizabeth finally found the movie that she's horny for him in.
Just that scene though. Just that one scene.
Just that one scene. It's fine.
I really did not like that they killed Donald Logue off so unceremoniously.
Yeah. That was kind of fucked up. And also, like, did we really need another major death?
He's standing there and he's talking to Roxy and she looks over and he makes a face and then he dies.
Right. And I mean, it honestly just feels like they either ran out of lines or just...
I feel like that was a bad edit.
Yeah, like, I don't think that he needed to die. That's probably my only real complaint about it too. And, like, he died, like, halfway through. I mean, granted, by this point, like, she's been kidnapped and, he's going to the contract and, like, all that shit is ensuing. But, like, he didn't have to. We already had one tragic loss, right? His father, the most influential person in his life. And then, now, the other most influential person in his life, his best friend, his business partner, his manager. And, like, they killed him stupidly.
Yeah.
It was a very Sean Bean death, I think.
Yeah, that's what it is. So what would we rate this movie?
I actually, while I was watching it, like, I got a lot of the same kind of feeling that I had for, like, National Treasure, where it is good. It's a good movie, but I still feel like it is very middle of the road. It did have a lot of action. There were a lot of pretty cool, crazy scenes. Again, the CGI was amazing. Nicolas Cage is a good hero, but I still feel it's not a bad movie. I don't think it's a great movie. I think I would give the movie a C.
Yeah, I could give it a C.
Did you have different thoughts? Did you want to give it a B or a C plus, B minus? Like, what's your thoughts?
Honestly, I would give it a B. It's nowhere near as bad as I was led to believe. There were some really interesting things in it. I thought all of the performances were good. I thought the CGI was good, even if, at this point it's, 15 years old.
Yeah.
I would give it a B.
Okay.
Can you live with a B?
Yeah, I can live with a B. What would you give the caginess of it?
The caginess of it is an A.
I think you're right. I think you're right.
It's very, very cagey.
It's really hard for me to watch a movie where I see significant, seamless body work of his, coupled with the range of emotions he's able to seamlessly move back and forth between, and not call it an A experience, because it always is. It always is.
Yeah.
And I mean, we've said this before, he's clearly very in control of his instrument. He's a master at what he does. Even in a movie like 2007's Ghost Rider.
I also
Yeah.
want to just point out real quick that we have yet another movie where Nicolas Cage desecrates a church.
Yes, although I would stipulate that the church was deconsecrated
Yeah.
because it was filled with evil souls. So, but you are absolutely right. He doesn't really have a choice but to desecrate it because that's literally where the focal point of the movie is. But yeah, you're absolutely right. It's another desecration. I think that brings our grand total up to what, 5?
Let's see. Let me see.
Is it
Let's see.
5 now out of like, I think this is our 17th?
This is our
Or 18th?
19th.
Our 19th episode. Woo!
So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 church desecrations. I feel like he desecrates a lot of churches.
I feel like that's 20% of the time Nicolas Cage is fucking up a church. That's so great. I love that this is one of the metrics that we use. So we are at an A for Nick Cage, we are at a B for the film, and we are at 5 count for church desecration. I think that's a pretty good rating system.
Well, I think that's it.
Yeah, I think that's it. I don't have anything else. Listener, if you are enjoying what we do and you want to follow along with us, you can find us on Instagram at Not the Bees Pod. We are also on patreon.com/notthebees if you want to head on over and maybe kick us a few bucks, get access to our Discord. We would love it if you would rate the podcast, comment on it, like it, subscribe, whatever app you're using, whatever its protocol is. We would certainly love for you to follow along and engage. So yeah, that's it. That's all I've got. But until next time, I've been Megs.
I'm Elizabeth.
And we'll see you next time.